tuned in to a Grown Folks production. In the mix. With the commish, Nate.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to Press Pass Live, your weekly podcast show, episode 279. Oh my goodness, we are almost to 280 episodes of Press Pass Live. It's crazy how many years we've been doing this. But welcome to your weekly podcast show about the OMFL, the world's longest online CFM. Thanks for hanging out with me. We're here with my guy, Trey. We're talking playoffs, season 103. We're going to talk a restart. We're going to piss on Madden. We'll do all the stuff that make people moan and groan. But first, we're going to talk about the playoffs and some pretty epic games that we've had. Trey, how you doing today, bud?
Pretty good. You know, talking about all these epic games, and I'm sitting going, why, Madden? Why? Why do you have to screw us?
I guess technically there's still hope in the next 24 hours, but the playoffs are the playoffs, and there's no going back. We just have to sim. I don't know. We'll have to see if EA does some kind of miracle to get us back our CFM and make some decisions. But man, thanks for the extra time. I needed the extra day. I got this brand new fancy desk in front of me. It's 8 foot long. I've got so much more working area. It's beautiful. Had a father-in-law create this for me. I designed it on a piece of paper, drew it all out. He took my kind of brain idea and made it a reality. I can't wait to show it off. I'm going to film from over there one of these shows so you can see back behind me and see exactly what I got going on here. But love my new desk. But because of that, I went from a 3 foot temporary portable kind of situation desk thing that I had to an 8 foot desk, and I needed all kinds of like extenders and all kinds of stuff. So that all came in yesterday, got it hooked up, got everything tested. We're rocking and rolling, and hopefully I don't have to touch this stuff anymore. So I appreciate the extra time. Let's talk about the season 103 playoffs, at least in the remake. And I will go ahead and fess up. I had to do 99% of this on my own. Shout out to first all of the people that helped get the remade CFM done. This is what it took. We had to make a brand new CFM. We had to remake all 32 import players. We then had to go through and get all of the rosters correct. So every trade that was made, every free agent signing that was made, we had to fix every contract from season 1. And then after all of that was done, we had to sim the first season with everything off. But because there were no owners, no humans in control of those teams, even with the CPU off, the CPU owns a team, it will do what it wants to do. So it did all kinds of craziness, y'all. Yeah, I had the trades turned off. I had everything. It still cut players, moved players. It was pretty decent after the first season. But when we got to re-signs and free agency, that's when everything went haywire. It cut players. It signed players. It re-upped new contracts. It was just crazy. After doing about 3 days worth of work, simmed the next off season, sim free agency, sim the draft, went to put players where they needed to be, and we realized that every single roster needed to be redone. Upwards of 35 players per roster for some of these rosters. We had to fix contracts. We had to completely redo the rosters. It was a ton of work. And shout out to Dimbrew and Little Koch. They all helped. D-Money helped. Raj helped. I'm trying to think. Penguins, I think, might have helped. I can't remember exactly. But really a big, massive shout out to Maniac. He doesn't play here anymore. Is just now getting back in the community. Has not been in the OMFL in a bit. He did tons of work. I mean, probably a good 15 to 25 hours worth of work. I invested a good 40 to 50 hours worth of work. There's a good 60 to 70 hours worth of work into the remake. And then we got everything squared away, got everybody fixed, got everybody ready to go, invited everybody in, simmed the preseason, let everybody set up what they needed to set up. And then I had to sim game by game. And what we found out was the schedules matched in order of like who you're playing, but not in the exact same order as our season before the crash. And so it totally was a learning curve of how do I do this? How do I figure out what games were played when and where and who to give sim when? The first 2 weeks were a complete learning curve. And then after that, what I figured up I had to do is I had to have all 32 teams worth of Daddy League pages open. I had to have schedules open. And I just had to go page by page until I found the matching game to set the winner. Unfortunately, that is not an easy process. You don't select a game and select, give the Cowboys the win, give 49ers the win, give the Lions the win, give the Bills the win. You have to select, give home the win, give away the win. And well, when you're setting 200 plus games, mistakes are going to happen. And clearly, 1 to 5 mistakes happen. And it was just enough mistakes to keep the Falcons out, the Lions out, and I think mess up the order of the AFC. It is what it is. I owned it. There's nothing I can do about it. I have simmed a Super Bowl before, so it isn't probably my worst mistake in the whole wide world, but figured let's get that out of the way before we move on. Some teams didn't make it that probably would have completely made these playoffs look completely different, such as my friend Trey and the Lions, such as our friend Bronco Man and the Atlanta Falcons, who were red hot, but did the very best that we could do with it. This is where we are. This is where we're at. And now we're just going to talk about what we got. So let's get over here. The way it played out here. Yeah, please go.
Before we go, you messed up. I think it was the Bills and the Dolphins should have been switched. So the Bills should have been the champions of the AFC East, and the Dolphins should have had the wild card. And yeah, you completely shook up the NFC playoff. From what I've seen, though, and from talking with other people, you didn't screw the Falcons out of the playoffs. He was going to be out no matter what.
Okay, I didn't know that.
From how things played out, he was going to be out. However, the 3 seed should have been the Buccaneers. The 4 seed should have been me. The 6 seed should have been the Bears, and the 7th seed should have been the Cardinals. That would have been a very interesting playoff.
It would have been.
But here
but
we are.
It is what it is. And, outside of taking lashings and being banished to Hades, there's not much more I can do about it. And it kind of is what it is. Again,
I don't put the blame on you, Nate.
No, I understand.
We'll discuss.
And
Don't
look,
blame's on you guys. You guys had a lot of work on your hands.
And I told you this, and I said it in chat that I don't blame people for being frustrated and upset. I get it, but at the end of the day, in my opinion,
you guys
and it's
did the best
easier.
you could do.
Totally, and I think it is easier for me because I wasn't in the playoffs, right? And if I would have been and screwed myself out, I'd be mad at myself. But I will say that the big picture is that if we can get 5-6 seasons out of it and save our CFM without completely restarting halfway through, it's worth a messed up playoff one time, and we move on. And who knows? Maybe EA fixes things, and I don't know. We'll see it. Let's talk about what we got. You want to start AFC or NFC?
Looking at these playoff brackets, let's start with the AFC because it looks like there's a little bit more interest there.
Oh no, hold on one quick second. I checked all this. It was all working fine and dandy, but clearly something has went. Guys, this is the part of working out kinks. Okay, I'll work out the kinks later. It's going to be a little foggy, but it kind of is what it is. This all was working last night, I promise y'all, but this is part of working out kinks on a brand new setup. It's not actually brand new, but everything's set up. Okay, let's talk about the AFC. You got Miami 2 versus 7 Raiders, 3 Broncos, 6 Bills, 4 Colts, 5 Bengals. Couple of pretty good matchups. Let's start with the one I think shocked me the most. It was the Miami Dolphins falling to the Oakland Raiders. And I watched this game, and it ended up being one of the common themes for this entire playoffs, and that is turnover monsters. I think everybody taking a 2-week break, it ended up coming out in this turnover monster. 3 turnovers in this game, a lot of them in the passing. But look at the Raiders scoring 28 points in the first half to jump out to the big lead. It then put the Miami Dolphins in a pass-heavy mode. They ended up turning the ball over a ton, and they fall to the Las Vegas Raiders 38-26. What a game from Will Carter, 298 passing yards, touchdown, interception. Mr. Dickerson had 249 with a touchdown and 2 interceptions, but Josh Jacobs, 22 attempts, 132 yards, and 4 touchdowns on the day. Darren Waller, 5 for 131. Adams, 5 for 109. These teams are rocking and rolling. What's up, Afro? I appreciate the subscription. Sorry, guys, for the technical difficulties. I promise we'll get them fixed. What's up, JJ? Good to see you. And then Howard had 10 tackles. Jaylen Brown to lead the Las Vegas Raiders with 8 tackles. What a game. Did you get to watch any of this?
I'm not going to lie. I've been checked out when it comes to the playoffs because I'm trying to get in my own mentality, but I've been seeing the scores and reading the stat lines. This game surprised me on the fact of I played before we had these whole resets. I played in week 18. I played the Raiders. That run game wasn't as efficient as it was in this game. So I'm going, what was the difference?
It was shocking to watch. It felt like Massimo was just like a little off of his game, not quite himself. It was weird to watch how that one played out. And I think Massimo will be right back in it next year. He was a number 2 seed this year. His team's very, very good. I think he's going to be right back in it, and he'll be rocking and rolling. Denver Broncos fall to the Buffalo Bills 31-27, and this shot Bill and his Bills on a rocket ship straight to the AFC Championship. I watched that game last night. Man, we got a bunch of stuff to talk about. 428 offensive yards to 364, 3 turnovers for the Buffalo Bills, but somehow they overcame that to score 10 points in the fourth quarter to win this one 31-27. Time of possession was almost even between these two teams. They really traded punches. Russell Wilson with a pretty good game, 335 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception. Josh Allen struggled, 1 touchdown, 3 interceptions. Again, will be a theme for him moving forward. Pierce, 15 for 123, though, on the ground and 3 touchdowns that led the Buffalo Bills. And Rhett Handles and Travis Ward, both with 12 tackles on the day. Buffalo Bills, man, shocking everybody. They got on a hot streak here and got on a roll. Started that one with a victory against the Denver Broncos.
Yeah, I don't take this one as a shock. I felt that this is a winnable game for Bill, and I didn't think it'd be coming by mostly the run game, though. That's something I haven't seen Bill use so efficiently with, well, the Bills.
Yep, me either. And again, when we talk more about the Bills as we go, Allen definitely had his struggles throughout the day. Indianapolis Colts, they come away with a 34-21 victory against the Cincinnati Bengals. This was an interesting game to see how the Bengals were going to respond. They low-key, in my opinion, went kind of under the radar getting into the playoffs this year, but they had a hell of a season and played a pretty tight game. Like a lot of games in the OMFL, all the scoring seems to happen in the first half and the defenses tighten up in the second half. But the Indianapolis Colts were able to just put 10 points in the second half. That's just enough to give them the victory here. 4 turnovers for the Bengals. That's going to be a big one to try to overcome. Time of possession was nearly identical. Tom Brady, yeah, he had to get remade. Sorry, that's not the real Tom Brady, but his stats are the same. He had an interception, no touchdown on the day. Joe Burrow, 410 yards, but 4 interceptions. That really, really hurts. Jonathan Taylor, kind of a theme here in the first wild card weekend, 16 for 130, man. These guys are running wild. It makes me think we're going to have to look at these sliders. They didn't change. Man, something has changed here. Jamar Chase, 10 for 131. Carlisle, 5 for 121 and a touchdown. Again, a couple of defensive leaders. Logan Wilson, 11 tackles on the day, 2 for loss. And then Nick Cross, 11 tackles, 2 for loss. Got anything on this game?
I'm looking. Did the Bengals run the ball at all?
Not a whole lot. It looks like they had to get into makeup mode down. What was this? 17. Yeah, a lot. I think they were down 14 to 17, something like that.
I may be missing something here, Nate, and that may just be my game that's glitching out, but I'm looking at the stat lines. It looks like there was nobody that ran the ball.
That can't be right. Is that right? That can't be right. There's no way.
I'm only getting 2 running backs, so maybe the running back played has been released? I don't know if the Bengals released anybody.
Maybe so. Maybe they release some that because it'll do that to where if you release somebody, that has to be it. Because I was like, there's no way that little Koch didn't run the ball. That's impossible.
Yeah, because he has 41 rushing yards. So weird.
Yeah, he cut somebody, so that's what it ended up doing. Well, let's move to the wild card on the other side before we come to the divisional round. Dallas Cowboys whipping up on his buddy, 30-3, beating the Panthers. Dallas continues to kind of just roll his way all the way to the NFC Championship game. This one just kind of a no-doubter. They were up 24-3 at halftime, ended up continuing to pitch that shutout for the rest of the game. 3 turnovers from each of these teams. So, again, turnover is the story of this playoffs. But look, Dallas is what they are. They know how to stay really efficient. They know how to do just enough to make you force the issue. Elliott doing what the AFC did, 17 for 130, 2 touchdowns on the day. Receiving CeeDee Lamb, 4 for 86. Bass, 4 for 80. And looking at the defense, Micah Parsons, he's a monster. 13 tackles on the day, half sack, 4 tackles for loss. Whenever Dwayne is doing that with Micah Parsons, it is not fun. Ben Joseph Sharp with 7 tackles on the day, 1 tackle for loss. But this one's just not in doubt at all. I just think Dallas was the better team in this one.
Yeah, especially, even to add on to that, Kevontae Turbin ended up taking a kick return back for a touchdown. So you get all 3 elements working for Wayne, you're fighting an uphill battle.
The game of the wild card weekend, I didn't get to watch this game. I just poked my head in at the end just to see what happened. And I watched probably the most epic last 3 or 4 minutes of a game I have ever seen in my OMFL life. 4 turnovers for the Chicago Bears. They overcome that with 406 yards gained, 232 of them on the ground, 24 first downs. The time of possession was pretty even in this one. But this one came down to the Arizona Cardinals scoring, I think, a touchdown to take a 4-point lead. The Chicago Bears coming down with a little over 2 minutes. I think it was a little over, maybe a little under 2 minutes to go, driving down the field, converting several 4th downs that could have ended the game. The Arizona Cardinals dropped several interceptions that could have ended the game. Then the Chicago Bears get it down to the goal line, 4th and goal, 1 second. He literally called his last 2 timeouts with like 3 seconds left to go. It was like 3 seconds and then 2 seconds and then 1 second. 4th and goal, no timeouts left. On the 1-yard line, 1 second to go. Chicago punches it in for the game-winning touchdown. Guys, if you didn't watch this one, you missed hell of a game. Epic game. 3 touchdowns, 1 interception from Murray. Fields 2 touchdowns with 4 interceptions. Kareem Hunt 16 for 166. Herbert 9 for 75. Receiving wise, it was Hopkins leading the way 4 for 121 and 2 touchdowns. Looking at the defense, though, Juwan Brisker had 9 tackles on the day. And then for Arizona, it was Budda Baker with 9 tackles and 1 interception. My goodness, I told them they had to submit this for Game of the Week, and they did. Instant Classic, I should say. They submitted that, and that one's going to go down in the vault. It was a great game between these two teams.
Denver got us covered with why the Bengals show no stats.
Seen that one. Did you get to see the ending of this?
No, but you're making me want to go watch it after that.
You got to go watch it.
Wow.
It's one of those things where it's like you feel it coming and you're like, there's no way. There's no way. Like Arizona literally drops like 3 interceptions on that drive in their hands. Perfect read, dropped it, kept the drive alive. He converts 2, maybe 3 fourth down calls to keep the drive alive. He gets it down to the goal line, and when he calls that last time out, you're like, there's no way he got that off. Somehow he got the timeout off. 1 second left to go from the goal line. Barely punches it in. I mean, the guy was stopped like right at the goal. It's just, you feel for both of these teams. It was such a good game. You got to go watch that one if you didn't. And then that brings us to Washington Commanders versus Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Kevin, I see you. What's up? A really, really great game, but Washington scoring 21 points in the fourth quarter. What a comeback for the Washington Commanders. There's been very few 21, 28 style of points come back from like a NFL type theme carrying here in the OMFL. 21 points in the fourth quarter to get the victory. 385 offensive yards gained, 332 of them in the air for the Washington Commanders. Both of these teams with 2 turnovers, both of them having the time of possession, literally 2 seconds difference between them. Ryder with a great game, his first playoff game, the rookie, 3 touchdowns, 1 interception. Tua Tagovailoa, 4 touchdowns, 1 interception for his own great game. No massive running numbers here from this game. Both running backs with 57 yards. 3 for 99 for Godwin. McLaurin, 3 for 92. So super, super similar on all sides here. Devin White, 10 tackles, 1 tackle for loss. And then Jermaine Davis, 8 tackles, 3 tackles for loss. Great game. And your buddy Penguins pulls this one out 41-37 on the road.
Yeah, that game happened, and I got a text message immediately from him. Sup? I'm like, not much. And then this just made me go back and watch. I just pulled the comeback of a lifetime against Kevin. I had to go watch to see what he meant. Wow. There's a reason Penguins is one of the top players in this league. That was impressive.
Yep, I agree. And we'll talk more about Penguins as we continue to go here. Let's hop back over to the AFC divisional round. Raiders, Browns, Colts, Bills. Man, Raiders took this one on the chin. 17, 21, 14. That's your scoring by quarter. It was so bad, I got to be honest, I had to send Denver a message. And I was like, yo, 52? Oh, that feels a lot. But you know what? He didn't score in the fourth quarter. A lot of them were pick sixes. It kind of is what it is. And this is the funny part. He didn't lead in offensive yards gain, in rushing yards gain, in offensive passing yards gain. But he led where it mattered most, turnovers, 5-0. Who cares what the time of possession is when you get a blowout like that? Watson, really, really efficient game. 3 touchdowns, 1 sack. Carter, not a terrible day for him when it comes to sacks and keeping him upright. But my guy just couldn't stop throwing it to the wrong team. 5 interceptions on the day. Nobody kind of ran away with this one, but when you get these blowouts, especially like pick 6 style games, really hard to kind of get your offensive going. 8 receptions for 161 for Devontae Adams. Then looking at the defense real quick, Moorhead had 9 tackles, 1 tackle for a loss, and then Ward with 7 tackles and 2 interceptions on the day. Browns flexing on the Raiders in this one.
Yeah. So Will Carter threw 4 touchdown passes. Just
Uh,
only one happened to be the silver and black.
that is 100% correct. I was like, wait a
That's
second. I think you got your stats off. And then I was like, oh, no. He's got those right.
that's yeah, that's not good. That's
Yeah, it's
definitely
going to be
not
a
a way to
tough
win a
one.
game.
Would you rather throw 4 touchdowns to the wrong team, or would you rather miss 5 extra points like the Dallas Cowboys kicker last night?
I'll subtract 4 points instead of, or yeah, 4 or 5
Yeah, I
points
guess
instead of giving them 18, 19. Yeah. Oh,
either way,
poor Batman.
that's a tough bus ride home. That's a tough. I shower with the other team that day. I'm just gonna go ahead and exit stage left here. Indianapolis Colts, man, they have a great game against the Buffalo Bills, but they fall 17-10, and Buffalo keeps their hot streak alive. I told you, Bill, he is known for his big play offense, but this dude, when he wins well and wins big here, it's when he's playing great defense. And man, he got that rolling here against the Indianapolis Colts, and it'll carry him in the AFC Championship game, giving up no points till the third quarter and then clamping down to come away with a victory 17-10. 79 rushing yards that lead the game, 233 offensive yards that lead the game, 154 passing yards that lead the game. Both guys turned the ball over 3 times, though. Allen's got to clean that up for next year. It was a struggle in this one. 2 touchdowns, though, from Allen is going to help him. Tom Brady, only 155 with the 2 touchdowns. Both guys were sacked a combined 5 different times. Nobody ran away with this one, 54 and 53 yards, respectively. Gabriel Davis, 5 receptions for 101 yards, 1 touchdown. Looking at the defense real quick, Nick Cross had 10 tackles of the day, 2 interceptions. And Tremont Edmonds, who had a great game. We'll talk about it in the AFC Championship, 7 tackles on the day. This was a really good game. And Buffalo getting to his first AFC Championship, I think, ever.
Yeah, because he's only been in the NFC for, and I think Madden 23 is his first flip over to the AFC.
We're going to reverse engineer this one, though, for the NFC because, man, this Washington Commanders, San Francisco 49ers game, it is just as epic as that Bears, Cardinals, or even Bucks, Washington game. So we're going to save that one. We're going to come back to that one last. Dallas Cowboys, 35, Chicago Bears, 13. This one had a bit of tension about it. Chicago was red hot all season. Amazing defense. Gets in the playoffs, has his team rolling, and I just think he faced a little bit hotter of a team in the Dallas Cowboys. This one was starting to run away in the third quarter, but that Dallas Cowboys defense clamped down in the fourth quarter, 35-13, 89 rushing yards to lead the game for the Dallas Cowboys, 166 passing yards for the Chicago Bears, but the 3 turnovers are always going to hurt you. And I tell myself and everybody this because I hear it all the time when you watch NFL broadcasts or listen to NFL real life athletes. You never lose a game on one play. You might be able to pinpoint one play that like technically lost you the game, but it was never that one play that lost you the game. It is the combination of a bunch of plays that add up to the one play. And 3 times turning the ball over against the Dallas Cowboys. Going to make that almost impossible to come back from. 130 passing yards for Dak, but 1 touchdown, 1 interception. Fields, 209, 1 touchdown with 2 interceptions. I think he had 5 interceptions this playoffs. That's going to be really tough to overcome. They did a much better job against Ezekiel Elliott. As a matter of fact, I think it was you that talked about how you just cannot run on that Chicago Bears offense. Both guys had 48, 46 rushing yards, respectively. Cole Kmet had 4 for 51. Allen had 4 for 47. And then looking at the defense real quick, Jabril Cox from LSU, 11 tackles, 1 tackle for loss in the day. Parsons will spit it out 10 and 2 with 3 sacks on the day. And Roquan Smith, 9 tackles on the day. The Dallas Cowboys with 2 flexing of the muscles, 30-3 and then 35-13 against 2 pretty good teams.
Yeah, to top this off, Nate, you're leaving one guy that I think dominated more defensively than anybody in this game. Is right end Sam Williams. 9 tackles, 2 solos, 7 assisted, 5 tackles for a loss, and 3.5 sacks.
sometimes the tackles for loss feel like more of a backbreaker than the sacks do. Just because it's usually against the running game, right? It stifles that running game. I don't know, man. The tackles for loss when you get high numbers like that are really difficult to overcome.
Yeah, that just sounds like Sam Williams was having his way with whoever the left tackle was for the Bears this game.
Then we move to the Washington Commanders falling to the San Francisco 49ers 33-30. And I messaged Penguins as soon as this game was over. I didn't get to watch it live. I got to go back and catch a little bit. Just was telling him, man, you just reestablished yourself as one of the all-time greats here. Multiple time champion, been in multiple championships. And just has these Commanders rolling again. He went up against arguably the best player that the OMFL has ever seen, period, hands down. And he went toe-to-toe with him all the way to the very end. 24 points in the second quarter to put him in the lead in this game and bring this one down to the very, very end. And the way I remember this one ending was under 2 minutes ago, I think under a minute to go, the 49ers make an epic drive, hit a big post route. Guy gets behind the DB, scores the game leading touchdown with, I think, right around 30 seconds or something like that to go. They squib kick it down to the up back. Washington tries to get something going, but with no timeouts, he was unable to get that going. The 49ers stay alive to get to their multiple time NFC championship here. 415 yards in the air, in the game for the 49ers, 76 on the ground, 339 in the air, 3 turnovers. Penguins turned D-Money over 3 times. That'll keep you alive in any game. Tua, pretty great postseason here, 251 passing yards, 1 touchdown, no interceptions. Trey Lance struggled, 349, 4 touchdowns, but 3 interceptions, 2 sacks a day. Elijah Mitchell from ULL, 46 rushing yards. Cook had 40, so nobody really running away with that. Mike, is it just Gesicki? I feel like I'm saying it. Gesicki, there you go. 8 for 101. Ayuk, 7 for 90 and 1 touchdown. Then looking at the defense real quick, Henry Campbell had 10 tackles, 1 tackle for loss. And then looking at Washington, Jonathan Allen, 7 tackles, 1 tackle for loss. 1 sack on the day. What a game. Did you get a text message after this one?
Nope. And so I knew something went wrong. Normally when these big games come up, if he has something go great, I usually get a text message. Didn't get a text message this time. Went and saw everything and was like, that's heartbreaking. I know how much Penguins put towards this season.
Yeah, man. And 2 seasons, right? He had 2 seasons, just heartbreaking losses right at the very end. And to his benefit, I've struggled with, can I say this, can I not? So hopefully Penguins, I'm saying what is allowed to be said. But I think he, in a very mature, level-headed, not angry manner, did ask me to look at a couple of things. And both of them checked out. Neither looked like an FPR break. They just looked like smart plays, trying to kill as much clock as he possibly could. And just a hard fight battle. 2 heavyweights. This kind of matches that you want in the OMFL. 2 heavyweights getting in the middle of that ring and just duking it out until the very, very end. And man, we had more of that as we get to the AFC Championship. NFC Championship will happen tomorrow. It's going to happen at a weird time of the day, so I won't be able to call it. What's up, Bird? Good to see you, buddy. But the AFC Championship, I was able to watch that as I relaxed with the wife. And man, what a game. I got to be honest, Improve, you my dude. But man, Bill let you off the hook. He had you. Man, this was quite the game. 270 total yards for the Browns, 219 of them in the air, 55 of them on the ground for the Buffalo Bills. Are you okay over there? Do I need to call somebody? Uh-oh, I got one. Are you there? Trey? Hello? Trey? Uh-oh. Trey, you good? What happened here? I'm good on my end. So should be good on Trey's. Okay, hopefully Trey's okay.
Okay, what did I miss? My headset died.
Oh, no, I don't think it did die. All we heard was, and I was like, are you okay?
Controller.
Are you all right? Okay.
The controller mic.
Trey's back. All right. Whew, man, I thought I was about to have to call somebody. 3 turnovers for both of these teams. Man, they went back and forth. Buffalo had him late in the fourth quarter. I even commented, both of these teams are turning each other over. As soon as I made that comment, there was like 3 more turnovers that took place. Buffalo's driving. He's inside like the 7-yard line. He runs a boot play action to the right. He tries to force a pass to the back. It's picked off by Cleveland. Cleveland then takes that drive all the way down to score the game, what would be the game-winning touchdown. 3 interceptions from both of these quarterbacks, both of them making Watson-like throws. They were in the snow. I watched one of the Watson picks. He like slips, so he doesn't get his footing. It's a terrible pass. It's picked off. There should have been probably about 6 more interceptions that both of these teams dropped, especially Buffalo. After turning that ball over on the drive that Denbrew would take the lead, Buffalo drops like 3 interceptions right in his hands. It was devastating to watch, and I was screaming at my phone, why don't these guys run the ball? It's snowing. Stop turning it over. You got Denbrew on the ropes, Bill. Man, what a matchup. Go and watch this one if you didn't. Knox 5 receptions for 70 yards and a touchdown on the day. Looking at the defense, Delpit, my guy, 10 tackles on the day. White, 8 tackles on the day. Man, he made a read on several plays all day. Just dropped the ball right in his hand. I know Bill had to be ready to lose his mind. This was an amazing game. Did you get to watch any of it last night?
I didn't even know what was happening. I was busy with stuff, and then next thing I know, I had the result. I'm like, oh, okay. But looking stat lines, and from your description, wow.
It was such a good game to watch, and I was actually pulling for both of these guys. I think my heart was pulling for the Buffalo, just not, I love Denver. He's my dude. I just was pulling for Buffalo from the sense of like some new blood in the AFC. Bill had worked so hard to get there. He had to scrap and claw his way to the AFC Championship. And yeah, I just wanted to see him make it. But look, Denver proved why he is one of the top owners. And I think in the last 3 seasons is proving why he too should go down in the, I hate this word, but the annals of OMFL lure for being one of the great all-time coaches. But now let's talk about the NFC Championship. It's going down at a weird time, okay? Denver and D-Money. Not Denver, D-Money and D-Wayne. Weird time tomorrow. But we're getting the matchup that a lot of people have been wanting to see for some time. We haven't seen this exact matchup in quite some seasons. But this one may go down in OMFL history. Number 1, undefeated San Francisco 49ers, one of the greatest OMFL owners of all time, arguably the greatest OMFL owner of all time, has the most championships of the OMFL, against D-Wayne, one of the most consistent owners we've ever seen. Also, and one of the more competitive, most winning coaches, probably the most winning coach in OMFL, or number 2 right behind D-Money. 1 versus 2 heavyweights battling it out. This is just going to be what OMFL games are made of. How do you see this one playing out?
I don't think this is going to be much of a game at all.
Wow. Okay.
The rust and the cracks are all there. All Wayne has to do is punch it. And I think the shield that is known as D-Money shatters.
Let's be honest here. You and D-Wayne aren't on each other's Christmas list anytime soon. I thought you were going a different way with that one, but you heard it here, Wayne. Your guy Trey is calling for you to punch D-Money in the mouth. I don't know where to go with this one, man. We have that tight game, a 3-point victory, him sneaking it out against the Commanders. Here's part of my dilemma is it feels like D-Wayne, he's had a bit of an easier ride, right? 30-3 against the Panthers, 35-13. Now, granted, he earned those easier rides, but there weren't any tight games. What I think it's going to come down to is who turns the ball over the least, right? Both of these guys have proven to kind of turn the ball over a little bit too much. Um, Dallas is coming off of a really tough defense, one of the best defenses in the league, and he still put up 35 points against them. So I see what you're saying. He's going against a team that's known for good defense, but I mean, against arguably the best defense in the league, he put up 35 points against the Bears, and this is going to be a good one. I think it depends on the weather. If it's rainy, that could completely change everything. It could change the outcome of this game. I think it's going to come down to who turns the ball over the least. And that's a stupid statement to make. I know it. I'm owning it right now. It's always whoever it turns it over the least. But, man, I don't know who to pick. And if I had a gun to my head, I think I just would have to go with the undefeated guy. But, man, I could see either way. It's a coin flip. Flip a coin. Figure out who wins this one. Is there a key to victory here? What is the key to punching the cracks that you're seeing?
It's simple. Make D-Money play your game. And Wayne is really good at making you play his game. He wants to run the ball, he's going to run the ball. If he wants to pass the ball, he's going to pass the ball in. If he wants you to pass the ball, you best not expect to be able to run the rest of the game. If he wants you to run the ball, don't expect to be able to pass at all. And this cycle in this Madden, it just doesn't seem that D-Money can get that consistency rolling. Yes, he went undefeated, but a lot of those games they started getting closer and closer. The higher the skill gap was between an opponent where you go and blow them out versus a top-end talent. Now you're going up against arguably the second best. I feel it's just that one punch where it's going to go bing, and D-Win's going to knock D-Money off the throne.
What is the key? So you have Dallas versus Cleveland. I've got San Francisco versus Cleveland, but honestly, flip a coin. Both of those should be really, really good games. Last year, we seen the Atlanta Falcons go on a run, and they beat Denver in the championship. Who's the winner in your OMFL Bowl, and what's the key for both, whether it's Cleveland or whether it's Dallas? What's the key for both of those teams to get their next OMFL championship?
For Wayne, it's just keep what you've been doing. He's that guy. If he gets his style rolling, this is why if I ever get the ball first against Wayne, I'm actually happy, because if I can establish my game before he establishes his, I have a better chance of winning. Yeah. If Wayne gets his game established, you're climbing Mount Everest at that point. For Denver, it's get a fast pace going and don't let off. You've got to keep Wayne backpedaling. If you can keep Wayne backpedaling, you stand a chance of winning.
And what I remember about Denver, both from my championship game with him back in season 101, or whether it was last season against Kobe, season 102, and what I'm interested to watch in season 103, no matter which one of these teams he plays against, is he seems to kind of change with depending on who he's playing. Watching him last night against the Buffalo Bills, he was passing a lot more. He's taking a lot more chances. We've seen that against Kobe last OMFL Bowl, where he's taking some chances, and then he had that big play with the defensive end, whose name I'm forgetting. Also, gets the pick six or the fumble six to get him right back in that game. Like, Denver's big play ability gets him back in games, even when games start to run away. And I think whether it's Kobe, whether it's D-Money, whether it's D-Wayne, these types of owners, it's a little harder to get that big play off of them. You kind of have to stay, as you said, in front of both of these owners and make them play up to you. And I'm interested to watch the Browns. Can they get that? Can they establish who they want to be, the way they want that game to play out, and can they stay out in front from either one of these teams? And I think the key to the Browns, from me, will be controlling the clock and running the ball, slowing the game down if it's against D-Money and the 49ers, because he likes to fast pace score and go, pick it off, go, score quick. And before you know it, you're down 28-0, 28-7, 32-14, something like that. With Dwayne, I think if you slow it down against him, he likes that, right? He's okay because he doesn't want to pass the ball. He wants to establish the run. He wants to play great defense and then play action you and pop you for some big play. So I think slowing it down against Dwayne actually goes against the style or goes with the style that he wants to play. I think against Dwayne, you got to blitz him. You got to, like you said perfectly, because you've played him so many times, you got to get out in front. You got to establish him. You got to force him to pass the ball. Not that I think he's uncomfortable by any stretch of the means, but I think he's more uncomfortable than he is when he can establish the flow of the game. It's going to be an epic matchup. And Trey and I have already talked. Hopefully we can call the game and I can move our schedule around and get those guys to allow us to call it. It should be a ton of fun to call that game. And it should be a great one. Season 103 is cracking up to be a really, really good one. I hope you guys like the new playoff graphic. I have a brand new OMFL Bowl advertisement graphic that I think is just, it'll match what we did for the playoffs. Really clean, bright. I really like it. Came out great. And the reason, Massimo, if you're here, you haven't seen the Pro Bowl, I'm working on a new Pro Bowl graphic. Even though I just made that one last year, I want to go light and bright instead of the darker ones that we've been creating. So let me look real quick at the mailbag. I don't think we have anything mailbag. Of course, life is just, people have just been like, just get us playing again.
Yeah, we've been 3-4 weeks checked out on all of this.
Yeah,
it's been a while.
lot of
Maybe there's some questions.
Let's see. No new questions, which is okay. I totally understand it. But the restart is here. We are rolling. I'm just ready, like a lot of people. I think when we get to the draft, people just mentally can hit the reset button, mentally turn their attention, and it'll be behind us, and we can move forward and build to a great season 104, which I think everybody's ready to get playing. And
I'll be happy if I can actually draft my player this time.
I think we can. I actually think that the pause draft will come back. I attempted it in another franchise and it worked. And so hopefully the pause draft can come back. We could get the first round done. And I think everyone just feels better when everyone was able to do their first round draft pick and nobody has to miss the draft. And it makes the draft night a little bit shorter. We have more that we can talk about. It just makes things a lot more fun when we can do the pause draft. So hopefully that will come back. What are you looking forward to the most as we kind of turn the corner here and get ready for season 104? Are we going to be on a head-hunting mission or a vendetta for having the playoffs ripped from your grasp?
Oh, that's almost guaranteed, Nate. I'm very much on a head-hunting mission now. Heads are going to roll. That's ending tonight with the toilet bowl.
I did not enter the toilet bowl mainly because I was so burnt out from all the work that's went into this, but I'm ready to go. Well, give us some closing thoughts on playoffs season 103.
Yeah, it's been classic game after classic game, with the exception, I think, of two that were really just 2 or 3 that weren't really close ones. That's awesome to see.
Yeah.
Hope everybody can, after the month off, can get rechecked in when we get up and rolling around the draft time, and hopefully we get a season 104 that EA doesn't interrupt in some manner.
Yeah, I think I'm pulling for that as well. Hopefully season 104 doesn't get messed up at all. I'm interested to see what happens over the next 48 hours if they actually, they said only 6% of franchises were not going to be recovered. And that feels like too low of a number. So we'll see.
From my understanding from everything, it's only 40% of the affected would be recovered, but only 6% of franchises started from the day Madden began were affected. Is what I think I read.
Well, we'll see, EA. We'll see. We'll keep it
Knock
out.
on wood.
Again, I've said it till I think the chat has said it. I feel like it's a way deader horse. The horse has been dead, buried, dug up, decomposed, genetically altered to come back to life, murdered again, buried. It's
Magically
beyond gay.
reincarnated.
I get what everybody's saying. Look, I've had a few owners, and I think you even said it right. Like, I get it. Like, if nobody buys this game next year, I get it. That's your choice. I understand the frustration. I've also said my piece of how I also feel like I think it's the unfortunate state of every video game. If it were just Madden, I think I would be way more upset and understand. That understands not the word I'm looking for. Like, I would probably too would have my pitchforks ready to cast people to the lake of fire, but it's just not. It's not. It's every game. It literally is every game out there. Every game is delayed. Every game is almost canceled. Every game is super buggy. I don't know why. I'm not in that world. I agree.
Companies need to stop worrying about the extra money that they pull in from DLCs and please just make the games playable.
Yeah.
Once you get a solid base, then worry about that stuff.
I agree, but I think also this is the only option we have. There is no real option. I mean, yes, there are some indie versions of games like Maximum and other ones, but the honest truth is, like, they don't have online leagues. Like, they don't have, like, there are no real options. And I choose.
We're definitely pigeonholed.
Yeah, I choose to do this because of the relationships, because of the content. And the honest truth is, maybe one day somebody creates a game that's a real viable option and we switch, but I'll do this until literally my old hands can't hold this controller anymore because I just enjoy it. And so I won't judge anybody who decides they don't want to keep doing this. There's an idea that has been floated that we all keep playing 23 until, Black Friday of 24.
Can we go back to 22?
Right? I don't know. I like 23 better.
But there's so many bucks.
We could keep playing the same CFM and play into season, 6, 7, 8, 9. That's something we've actually never done here. Back in the PC days, we had to do it when they stopped making Madden for PC. But anyway, we'll look at the options, but hopefully people can get back on board, get back plugged in, come help, support the content, create your own content. I will always tell everybody this. And the last thing I'll say as we wrap it up, that the easiest way to move on from frustrations around the things that EA Madden does is to create content. It just is. Like, when you get the focus on creating content, talking about your team, talking about your rookies, video content, written content, whatever, it just engages everybody, engages you into your team, and it really is more fun. It is work, but it is way more fun when people start creating content. So hopefully we'll see more content as we get to season 104, because I'm ready for it. All right, Trey, thanks for hanging out with me today. Guys, also, sorry for no music. There was an update to my Wavelength software for my mic, and it won't allow Spotify to play through the software. I've sent in a ticket to get fixed. They haven't fixed it yet. And I even reverted back, and that didn't work either. So there's no music right now, but we'll fix it before hopefully the next broadcast. But the next time you'll see Trey and I will be for OMFL Bowl number 103. So stay tuned, plugged in. Come vote for Photo of the Year. We've got several submissions. Thanks, Trey. Thanks, Bill. Thanks, Denbrew, for getting those out there. And go vote for Trey, as he said. So, all right, guys, we'll see you on the next one. Trey, take it easy, buddy. And guys, we'll see you soon. Peace.
Smash that like and subscribe.